Hey, I don't even know how to kind of title this one. Manifestations or tapping into the universe. Freak, I don't know. I'm just going to start telling my freaky stories. So, this is something that's been happening to me. It's happened like 4 or 5 times now. And on January 21st of 22 this year, I was talking to my friend Addie about the Mandela effect because I'm like highly Mandela affected. And she didn't even know what it was. So I have the text message still. Um, and I mentioned that, I said, yeah, and people that have died in the past are alive now. I go, like Louis Anderson. I said, in my reality, Louis Anderson, that poor bastard has died like 2 or 3 times. And I said, but he's not dead. He's alive. And she goes, oh, wow, yeah, I remember him dying. Well, that was like in the morning. And I went and picked up my kid from college. So I had been on the road for like 3 hours and didn't look at my phone. When I got home, I was looking at Twitter and I read where Louis Anderson was dead. He died that day, right? I mean, he was probably dead when I wrote that text message, but I didn't know it. Um, so that was like really freaky. So I sent her a text message back and I said, well, guess what? Louis Anderson's dead. What a coincidence. Yeah, right. And then another thing, um, me and my husband were watching TV and he was kind of wishy-washy about the Mandela effect. And a couple of days before that, I said, wait until you have one that really hits you hard and you'll get it. Well, we were watching TV and they had actually, this was like December of, no, it was like November of 2021. And we were watching TV and there was a commercial on for John Madden where they were celebrating his life like they did a documentary or something. And he looks at me and he goes, because they said John Madden was going to be there or something. I don't know. And he looked at me and he goes, John Madden's dead. I was like, is he? I go, check. And he looked and he goes, he's alive? He goes, but I remember him being dead. And I said, see, it's happening. You're having a personal Mandela effect that's really hitting you. And I go, why do you think he's dead? And he's like, well, him and his friend used to play Madden football all the time, like all the time. They were really good at it. And he said he remembered John Madden dying years ago, and that him and his friend talked about if they were gonna like have someone else take over the franchise. And that like really freaked him out. But he got over it. Me, I like have to stay on this ship forever, and I don't know. It's hard for me to get over those Mandela effects that hit me hard. So it was maybe like a couple days later, I went on to Brian Stavely's. I was watching a stream and I was in the chat and I asked Stavely if anyone else remembered John Madden being dead. And Stavely read my message or my text message on his stream and he goes, yes, he has a friend that definitely remembers John Madden being dead. So my husband's not the only one that remembered that. So it was like literally like a month later, guess who dies? John Madden died. So I'm like, what the fuck? And that has happened to me with Olivia Newton-John. I was like talking to my husband about Olivia Newton-John, and I was listening to that song. She has like Magic, Believe Her Magic, or some shit like that. I forget the name of the song. And I was talking about her, and then I left and ran some errands, and I heard on the radio, where Olivia Newton-John died. Just like right, literally the day I was talking about her. So like I hit the door and I'm like, babe, guess what happened? He goes, I know, Olivia Newton-John's dead. I'm sorry, I shouldn't be laughing. And then I had a crazy synchronicity with a Fleetwood Mac song on Thanksgiving where I was singing a Fleetwood Mac song because there's a commercial on TV and it's for electric cars. And I must have been humming the song in my head or, out loud humming it. And I was cooking Thanksgiving dinner with my sister. And my sister said, she started singing it. And I was like, where'd you hear that song? And it's the one, oh, it's not Tell Me Lies. What is that song? Oh, I want to be with you. I want to be with you everywhere. And I told my sister, I said, yeah, that's for that. She goes, well, I'm singing it because I heard you singing it. I was like, yeah, it stuck in my head. I said, but that commercial should use that song, Tell Me Lies, Tell Me Sweet Little Lies, because we all know the electric car's bullshit. And she had to go pick up her granddaughter. And when she came home, or she came back to my mom and dad's house, she goes, "You're never gonna believe what song was on the radio when I took off." And I said, "What?" And she goes, "Little Lies" by Fleetwood Mac. She goes, "That's crazy." And I was like, "Yeah, did you think, oh, that's a coincidence? We just talked about it. And now it's on the radio." She goes, "Yeah." I was like, "That's not a coincidence." I said, "I don't know what it is, but shit like that, yeah, it just doesn't happen like that. But it happens to me all the time." And then who dies 6 days later? That Christine McVie, which was the lead, was Stevie Nicks didn't really sing that all that much on that song. It was Christine McVie, but 6 days later she dies, and I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what it means. All I know is that I'm just recording this shit, so it's a historical reference for me. And you guys that are experiencing things like this can chime in on the comments because I don't know. I just like talking about this stuff. So I don't know what the deal is with that, but it's pretty mind blowing. So that's that.